Welcome to Going for the Green, and it's time to party in New Orleans for the Zurich Classic. I'm Brad Thomas here with Denny Carter, and we're going to break down our favorite bets and plays for this event. We're traveling to TPC, Louisiana, but before we get into the event, Denny, I want to say I am absolutely sick and tired of betting on golf tournaments and Scotty Scheffler wins and my guy finishes in second. But the good news is no Scotty Scheffler for this event. How are you feeling about the Zurich Classic?
I mean, we'll see someone else win, and this is the only way we can guarantee that Scotty Scheffler is not going to win is if he's not in the field. And if he's in the field, we just have to assume at this point that he's going to easily win, as he did last week at Harbour Town. It's kind of routine by now, but I think we have to appreciate greatness where we see it. We haven't seen many runs like this. It's looking more and more Tiger-esque as we go along here.
Yeah, last week was impressive by Scotty Scheffler, an off first round. Books had him at 14-1. By Friday morning, I got a stab at 10-1. But let's talk about this week's tournament. We're playing at TPC, Louisiana. I want to go over the format really fast. So Thursdays, 4-ball, Friday, foursomes, then the cut, Saturday, 4-ball, and then Sunday, foursomes. Let's start at the top of the board. I actually am skipping all of the short prices. It's not necessarily because I don't think guys like Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay can win, or Rory McIlroy and Shane Lowry don't have good team chemistry. I just think that in an event like this, and there's a guy not named Scotty Scheffler in the field, we have an opportunity to kind of take stabs elsewhere. But I know from a DFS perspective, it's a little different than the outright board. So I'm going to start off and ask you, where are you going in the favorite market?
Yeah, well, obviously, Xander and Cantlay are the top price on DraftKings. Lowry and McIlroy are right under them. I think it's trending toward Xander and Cantlay being massive chalk here, and that makes sense because they're a really good team. And by chalk, I mean highly rostered. Okay, so if you want to get away from that and by the way, this is a volatile event. Okay, these team events are very volatile. You can play that to your advantage. If you want to get away from that massive rostership and go and dip down to Lowry and McIlroy, the Irish team, I think that's a good move. We have Lowry really like ripping the cover off the ball lately. Ball striking over the past 16 rounds. Shane Lowry is second in this field. Rory is 13th. Now, Lowry has been a disaster on the greens. Last week, he was dead last at Harbour Town in strokes gained around the greens. But Rory is top 15 in this field in strokes gained around the greens. I'm sorry, on the green over the past 16 rounds. What I'm saying is Lowry might be able to remain terrible on the greens, and this team could still score because Rory could get it done. That's the hope anyway.
Yeah, I initially had a wager on McIlroy Lowry pairing with the thought process that where Rory's really been struggling this year has been with his wedges, and Lowry's just one of the best wedge players. And now we get Lowry a little bit closer to the greens. I think course is only around 7,200 yards, 7,400, excuse me, par 72. I actually, like I said, skipped the top of the board and I went straight to Tom Hoge and Maverick McNeely. But I'm going to say this, Denny, if I weren't a true degenerate, I probably would not be betting this tournament because I'm a guy who likes to build models. It's very hard to build a model in a tournament that has two-man teams. But there's a couple things that I liked. This is definitely going to be a second shot golf course. So you have guys like Tom Hoge, who's just an elite second shot guy. And then you have a Maverick McNeely, who's a great putter. So if in the alternate shot format, if Tom Hoge can, hit the iron shot and Maverick McNeely's putting the birdie putt, then it works out. But when I was doing some digging, this actually kind of surprised me. I went and looked at the strokes gained metrics for the last 36 rounds, and I filtered it highest to lowest. I was figuring to see Tom Hoge somewhere in that bottom half. He was actually in the top third, which means even if it's Tom Hoge putting, I feel kind of confident. I said I'm not going to talk about models a lot, but there's something to note. Combined strokes gained average between all of the contestants in this, their pairing is number one for strokes gained approach. Second short shot golf course, you want to be strong on approach.
Absolutely. Yeah. And McNeely is not only good on the greens, he's good around the greens. When you combine strokes gained around the green and putting, McNeely is 8th best in this field this season. It's not a spot where Hoge has traditionally succeeded, at least at a high level, which means basically, Brad, that this team complements each other, right? Yeah. And so Hoge can get there from tee to green. I mean, he's been a very stable DFS option. He's a guy you can plug in. You know he's going to make the cut. You know he's going to get gain strokes on approach. He's done it in every single event this year, going back to January. He's going to do it again here. McNeely can bring that around the game, and eventually I think deliver for this twosome. I will say I don't think that this team has a ton of upside, but I do think that for DFS purposes, I think that you can again get them in there and get a pair that is going to compete into the weekend.
Yeah. So I saw that you were on them in DFS as well.
Yeah.
I'm just going to pivot straight over to the second group I want to talk about. That's
Okay.
the Team Canadian, the other Team Canada, and that's going to be Nick Taylor and Adam Hadwin. The interesting thing about looking at pricing for betting, I don't know if it changes that much in DFS, so I'll have to get your take on it when I finish here, is that on Monday's price is not going to be Tuesday's price. It's not going to be Wednesday's price, and certainly not going to be Thursday's price. This is one of the hottest names in the betting board. What I mean by that is their price is plummeting. I was able to find Nick Taylor and Adam Hadwin at 30-1. I know that price was much higher before, but the Canadian Connection, they're all business on the golf course. What's interesting or what's kind of scary to talk about when you talk about the Zurich Classic held in New Orleans are the guys who use this week kind of like an off week. They go out there, they hit Bourbon Street, they stay out a little late, they get away from their families and party time, and they come out to the course. It's hard to flip that switch. This team, runner-up last year, is all business. What I love about them, and they're both playing really good golf, and this is going to be my motto for this little segment, is they're great second shot golfers.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that we have to incorporate into our betting and DFS models guys who are not likely to go out on Bourbon Street. I think that is one key factor here. I don't know what to say. I don't know these guys' habits, but that does seem, the Canadian guys seem like all business all the time. So I do like that.
All right, so go ahead and tell me what you like about Team UPenn here. I see there's 7,800 on DraftKings.
Yeah, Kevin Yu and CT Pan. I'm a little nervous about this, but I had to dip a little bit low here to give the folks some salary relief, because a lot of the best pairs on DraftKings are going to be very high priced. You're going to have to make some difficult choices here. I think Yu and Pan is a very stable twosome here. Kevin Yu is fourth best in this field in strokes gained ball striking over the past 3 months. He's gained strokes off the tee in 8 of his 9 events this year. CT Pan, meanwhile, is 20th in approach, and he's been very good from the 150 to 175 yard range, which is an important bucket. He's 10th best in this field from that range. And like you said, Brad, this is a second shot golf course, and there are not many groups in this tournament this week that are better than Pan and Yu as far as approach goes, especially from inside of 200.
Hey, listen, every year we see there's some smaller priced guys that find their way kind of in the top 10, top 5. Right now you can get Yu and Pan to finish top 10 at plus 550 or 12-1 to finish top 5. Thought that was an interesting price on them at 75-1. I don't hate betting them. I didn't go that deep in the underdog market, the long shot market. I kind of stopped at a group that I thought had legitimate chance to win, and that's Taylor Moore, Matthew NeSmith at 50-1. It's funny because if you look at a model, and this happens week in and week out with Taylor Moore, even in his win, when you look at a model, he's not really a guy that's going to be like, hey, I need a bet on him because he's exploding in this category, or he does all of this great. But I think his game is just so well-rounded, which makes him a good complement to NeSmith, who is an absolute striker of the ball, great second shot golfer. So in the alternate shot format, I think that Taylor Moore's completeness or the roundness of his game will allow for NeSmith to be a little bit more aggressive, because Taylor Moore will be able to clean up some up and downs for any wayward shots. And I think that aggression pays off. When we're looking at these high priced guys, you got to really think about what's your risk versus reward, especially in the outright market. Does this guy have an absolute chance to win? 50-1's not that far off. Before we close, I want to get your thoughts on this group, because I didn't know if I was going crazy in betting this, or is it a price that's a little palatable?
So, just to add to what you're saying about Taylor Moore not really popping in any one category, and I looked at his profile in doing research for the show, And, nothing jumped out. But then I look and I see strokes gained total, okay, across the board. He's top 10, okay? And he has an elite short game over the past 16 rounds. No one in this field has been better around the greens than Taylor Moore. So you're right. That is an important factor to consider going into this one. Matt Neesmith not going to blow anyone away around the greens. Okay, we're not talking about Seve Ballesteros here, but we are talking about a guy in Taylor Moore who can get it done in that critical area, and Neesmith can just let it rip from tee to green, and that's the sort of complement that you're looking for when you're looking for a team that can get into the top 10, maybe even challenge for the win come Sunday.
Well, we're talking about teams here and team events. This is a team event here. I think that we gave out some good information as a team, and hopefully we can collectively win some people some money, whether that be in DFS or betting. But make sure to check out NBCSports.com for more help with all of your wagers. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. For Denny Carter, I'm Brad Thomas. Take care.